Hey everybody, what's up? What's going on? It is Wrestling Daily. I am Matt Camp. Thank you for being with me as always, whether it's a little early in the day here, watching on YouTube or the BR app. It's all in week. We're all in week, all in Texas, coming your way, of course. And it's a busy wrestling week. Of course, that was the first show scheduled for this week. We have since had a couple other shows added to the week. Saturday Night's Main Event and Evolution. But All In Texas is the marquee event for this week, and the marquee event for AEW. There it is, this Saturday, July 12th, Globe Life Field, AEWTix.com. Be one of, I believe now, over 20,000 that will be in attendance. But hey, it's a busy week. Garland, Texas, this Wednesday for Dynamite. It's a big week in Texas, as you might expect for All In Texas. We will get to some updates to the card, but just want to show you right here that it is going to be quite the busy week for All In Texas. So make sure you are part of it all as we take a look at the card here. Mox and Hangman now a Texas Deathmatch. Okada Omega, first time in 7 years. We were going to see the Young Bucks against Swerve and Ospreay. A lot on the line there. There you see the men's gauntlet. We know who's going in 1-2. The women's gauntlet, we'll talk more about that. A brand new match, AEW three-way tag team titles and the TNT Championship on the line. Kyle and Adam, and of course, Timeless Tony Storm taking on Mercedes Moné. And that is what All In Week looks like. But it's a big week coming up for AEW. Big time right now in AEW, and I'm happy to be part of it and talking about it with you guys here today. Our friend of the show, Tom Green, will be back with us on Wednesday. A lot of you guys enjoyed that chat. Make sure you check him out, WCW Deep Cuts, at Not That Tom Green. And we'll be talking to him on Wednesday. He had a very fun video up. I'll see if he will admit to the thumbnail he thought about using after the fact, but basically saying, hey, I'm excited for All In Texas. You see the card now, 8 matches. You have Ring of Honor Supercard coming up on Friday. This week, as we know, Dynamite and Collision will be back-to-back on Wednesday and Thursday, which is awesome. So you do get the episode of Collision. We do get it this week, even with All In Texas on Saturday. So you still get the full bank of shows. And I know a lot of people are just excited for this week. I am. I love the positivity, and sure, call me a dork or whatever, but I think it's something worth leaning into. Just in kind of how the world is, how the wrestling world is, and God, I for some reason I stupidly check the replies when I see something posted. I saw somebody made a fan made rendition of what they think the All In Texas set will look like made it, and it was reposted by I don't know somebody that I happen to come across my feed in my For You page, and immediately there's a comment of it's just like a completely negative comment, antiquated shot at the company. And I'm now just not now just realizing this negativity that built a lot of podcast empires or whatever. I feel like it's swinging back the other way. I feel like it's that stuff. The merit of that stuff has become laughable. And that's why it's just, God, I don't have time. And I don't know how anyone has time for that stuff. So let's talk about the positive. Before we get into Dynamite and everything that's been announced and for the week and updating the All In card, let me join the host of anyone who saw FTR versus the Outrunners on Collision this past Saturday. First of all, these two teams, I'll say, were influenced by the same eras of wrestling. They've gone about it in very different ways. But there was, months ago, an understanding, a friendship, a partnership. And FTR doing the doing the Outrunner stuff with them. Obviously, FTR has taken themselves in a completely different direction since taking Cope out, since aligning with Stoke. And they are certainly taking what I believe is a self-imposed multi-week, multi-month victory lap for being the winningest team in AEW tag team history. Sure, as they should. And the Outrunners have pushed back against them. What is going on? And they have a match that, if you love tag team wrestling, you love how partners back each other up, interact with each other, the chemistry that they have, seeing a tag team execute like a well-oiled machine, seeing a crowd get behind, and look, it's not a knock on the Outrunners. They're facing FTR. They were the underdogs. Seeing the crowd last week get behind them. It felt like one of the proper ways to celebrate the 100th episode of Collision. FTR has been a mainstay on that show. And there was a post that Dax put up a couple of weeks ago, just expressing his love for tag team wrestling, as he's been known to do. And I forgot if I never used Grok, but I've seen that it's given us some funny results. Maybe not the intended results on some answers. And I put something in, or I analyzed my response to him, and it said something to the effect of actually tag team wrestling has been shown to increase, I don't know, attention span or viewership or something. So I was like, look, you're right. It's scientifically correct. And of course, last weekend, I'll see if I can pull this up, because it is worth showing you guys something that you should make a point to go see. And I might have talked about this last week, but last weekend on the ROH YouTube page, obviously all run by the AEW crew, but on the Ring of Honor YouTube, I'll pull this up right now. I cannot recommend hitting the AEW and ROH YouTubes enough, because there is a lot of full matches going up. But I'll pull this up real quick. We'll see if we can take a look at it for you guys, and you can know what I'm talking about. We can't watch all of it because it's like 90 minutes long or 100 minutes long. But let me see. Let's see if I can bring it up for you guys, and then you can know exactly what I'm talking about. There we go. Is that going to work? Yes, it will work. So what I'm speaking about here, as we see the great Bobby Cruz, is the trilogy that took place over, some early years. I'll show you what we're looking at here of AEW. But I wanted to make sure you guys saw what I'm talking about, saw the importance of this match, because it is very important. The matches, the trilogy as a whole. So we'll make a point to go check this out. The trilogy of these three matches, of these two teams, is very special. And I know FTR holds it in high regard. I know Mark holds it in high regard. And obviously, you think about the late, great Jay Briscoe. So it was cool to see this stuff getting celebrated. And once again, as we get into this week, I don't know what you guys do, but for me, I find myself going back and watching, big matches or matches from history that I think have really made an impact. And then I look at, I'll show you guys this right here. Sorry, SNL, can't do that one. But, this is up. So there's a lot of these full matches up that you can go take a look at if you haven't done so already. But, there's a lot of good stuff there to kind of get you ready for the week. I'll just kind of show you the YouTube page real quick. If I can go full here. Yeah, let's do that. Let's show you guys what I'm talking about. Here we go. Let's go to the full. Bang, bang. Okay, here we go. So just some of the stuff that is certainly worth checking out here. You got kind of the beginning, if I remember correctly, right here of the Saraya, Shida, Tony Storm, Britt Baker. Some early timeless Tony Storm there. MJF and Will Ospreay is worth every bit of your time. And if you want to just see how that match kind of got going, it's a special match, and you get Danny back in that match. But this one is high on the list. This comes after their 59-minute, 59-second classic that happened at on a Dynamite, where MJF was able to take the title from Will, recursive it the American Championship, and Will would find his way back here, have this awesome entrance, and you get 34 minutes of, once again, not as long as the first match, but still quite important in the big picture. And now we're going to see Will and Swerve take on the Young Bucks. And I'll talk about that here for just a second, because, I look at a card like this, and AEW cards, we'll get back to Mark in a second here, but these cards, as we look at, and I'll show you everything, the amount of talent that is on this card, the amount of motivation that is coming from these people. Will Ospreay is not there to have a match that people aren't talking about. Will Ospreay is there to have a match that he believes is the best one on the show. And so I come back and I talk about, all of this talent on the show. Think about the Gauntlet matches. I mean, those are just massive. But Bucks versus Swerve and Will. The Bucks are very divisive. The Bucks are a team that has gone through their ups and downs with fan appreciation or hatred or whatever you want to call it. But when it comes to ding, 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 I don't know if there is a better team. And I'm not saying they're the greatest tag team of all time. That is a far different conversation. They're in the conversation. But I don't know if a team performs at a higher level when the spotlight is on them as consistently as the Young Bucks do. And, maybe that's the kind of matches that they are in. You're not going to see the Bucks have you're not going to see them just often face a team that, they're going to run over. They're going to be in these 8-man tags and stuff that's coming up on Dynamite, all that. But when the Bucks have a straight-up tag team match and they have a team that they have been feuding with or have a rivalry with or whatever that might be, you're going to get something special. Now, it's Swerve and Ospreay. It's going to be special, but I think what I'm most excited about is the fact that we've seen Swerve and Ospreay working together in some matches recently, and you can see this tandem offense that has, I'm sure, been discussed, but also like it comes together so organically. And obviously the Bucks have so much tag team offense that they've used over the years and have altered and changed, but there's like this uncharted territory with Swerve and Ospreay as a tag team. Now look, they're main event guys. But as we have seen, and I kind of love this, we get them in singles matches on Dynamite or Collision and obviously on pay-per-view, but we get to see these guys like just enough every week or so in these, I'll flip over to Dynamite. Like, here's the Dynamite card, and yes, we have talk stuff. face to face. We have this four-way I'll get to. But we have this. Like, we have a match that is the go home Dynamite. And what's amazing to me is, like, this is a wild ass match. Like, I know we just passed, I think, the one of the anniversaries of, like, Canadian Stampede. And I think about that, like that massive 10-man tag. Did anyone win a title or no? But, like, it was in Calgary. They had a hometown crew. Like, I expect this all-star Hangman-led team to get just an unbelievable reaction in Texas. But just the fact that we get to see, so many people in one match, the day before the real go home, and the day before, a couple days before the pay-per-view, that's pretty awesome. And I love how these all-star tag matches, and this is not like, oh my God, this is unheard of matchmaking. No, it's tapping into star power. It's tapping into me to, I want to see the best wrestler, but I want their pay-per-view matches to be something I am thirsty for. I am starving for. So we don't get a ton of interaction. You might get some beatdowns or sneak attacks or promos or whatever, but not a ton of interaction. And that, to me, gets you more excited for the match itself. Like, we're not going to see the Bucks against Swerve and Ospreay. Like, it's just not going to happen. They might cross over in some matches, but the actual match is not going to take place until Saturday. It's not rematch city. And now, I get more excited. But I also know that these four guys, like, right, here's the thing, right? Here's what I'll say. I guarantee you, and this is not about tournament brackets or anything like that, I guarantee you that Will Ospreay and Swerve both want to be main eventing All In Texas. Guarantee it. They're not going to. But I guarantee that when that show was announced, when that stadium was announced, which has obviously been quite some time ago, anybody wanted to be like, I want to be on that show. B, I want to have a prominent match on that show. And C, I want to main event that show. There's different levels based on who you are, where you are on the card, and all that stuff. But you're talking about Swerve, who, former world champ. Ospreay, who has been a main eventer without the world title, but obviously a two-time international champion. Yeah, I'm sure they looked at that and said, I want to be on top of that card. Didn't shake out that way, and now they have what very well could be the best match of the night. But the stakes on top of that of Swerve and Ospreay, if they lose, they don't get a world title shot for a year. Or if the Bucks lose, they lose their EVP title and power, and that just goes away. Then I start to think about the scenarios. And if the Bucks win and they keep their power, sure, it's more of the same, but it means Ospreay and Swerve who have been sniffing around that world title. Hell, like you go back to this time last year, Swerve's champ, Ospreay had just lost him at Forbidden Door, and it's not like they've ever been that far away. Swerve had a title shot this year against Mox a couple months ago, doesn't win. But they've been around it. So now all of a sudden, if the Bucks win on Saturday, then Swerve and Ospreay find themselves unable to go after their top goal. What does that do to them? Does that cause friction between them? Hell, there was already friction between them. And if Hangman wins, well, Hangman obviously and the Bucks are a total mess in terms of their friendship, and saw the EVP trigger last week. Oh, by the way, do they have to rename that if they lose? Does the EVP trigger get renamed? Is it like what was didn't like Booker lose his T to, I don't know, his brother or something? Like that kind of thing? Do they lose the ability to use that? Is it like when Chuck Taylor lost his name to Stokely? There's some Chikara lore for you. Sorry, Mox. Was that Chikara? It probably was. Someone will correct me. Or Tom will jump in and tell me. But now we look at the other side. Swerve and Ospreay win. EVPs are out of power. And then you look at the main event. Swerve and Ospreay win. Mox wins. They're going to fight to see who gets the shot at them first. Hangman wins. They're both going to want that chance at him. But Hangman wins. I talked about last week who becomes the Death Riders. Hangman wins and the Bucks are in power. Who's to say we don't see that as a title match? So there's a lot of things that connect. Then on top of that, and let's talk about this here quickly. This is important to me, is the men's casino gauntlet. Because, first of all, sorry, MJ. Oh, he's going to be so mad at me for doing that. We'll get to the women in a second. Let's pause that there. MJF got the 2 spot last week by winning his 4-way. Mark Briscoe got the number 1 spot by winning his 4-way the week before. And Mystico has been announced for the match. You get a guaranteed world title shot. You can use it whenever you want. Christian won this and at All In last year, and then tried to cash in on Cope, and it was unsuccessful. But then, who comes out of this as someone who has a guaranteed title shot? Do they want to go after it right away? Does it depend who wins? Much like the women's casino gauntlet. We know Chris Statlander's going in number 1, but guess what? As we look at these other matches, this match right here is the key. Because the winner of this, which is a huge victory, already has to be thinking about that casino gauntlet winner. Now, as we go back to the Dynamite card for tonight, first of all, let's look at that beautiful graphic. A little talky talk. Oh, a little talky talk. Talky talk. They've had some great back and forth recently. I love this feud. I also love the fact that Mark Briscoe, as I tweeted out this morning, is on a pay-per-view poster. Just happy. Face-to-face between Tony and Mercedes. But then this is a key right here. Megan Bain, who along with Penelope Ford was on AEW. You should go check that out. The returning Tay Mello, Queen Amanana, Thekla. Those two have had their issues. This is for the number 2 spot. So this is going to be who will be the first, basically, match or showdown in the gauntlet. Who will face Chris Statlander to open this thing up, just like we will know Mark Briscoe will face MJF with 1-2 in the men's gauntlet. But as I always have said here, if you don't know, the casino gauntlet, I was actually trying to explain this to my 6-year-old yesterday. I said, well, a gauntlet match is 2 people start, and then whoever wins that match waits for the next one, and then they have another match. And I said, so in that match, if you're in early, you got to face more people to win. But if you're in later, you don't have to face as many people. And she understood that. And I said, but the casino gauntlet's different. I said, 2 people start. Here we go. I'm giving you the 6-year-old explanation. I said, 2 people start. And believe me, if you don't know this match and you're tuning into a gauntlet for the first time or AEW for the first time, or here you go. The casino gauntlet starts with 2 people. In this case, we know it's Mark Briscoe and MJF. Chris Statlander will start for the women. Of those 4 women, we will see who takes the number 2 spot. But those 2 start. They're having a match. Not an over-the-top thing. No, they're having a match. And that means that in the gauntlet style, they're just having a match. Pinfall, submission, whatever it be. There are no DQs or anything like that because so many people come in the ring. Now, the next entrant can come out at any time because this is a 1-fall match. But the match starts as soon as there's 2 people in the ring. So it actually helps to be in earlier because you can't win it if you're not in it. There is no set number of people that have to enter this thing. This happened to Roderick Strong, I think, last year. He was the next one into a gauntlet. The match ended right before that, and Will Ospreay won. So getting the early spot means you have the best chance to win. There could be 10 people. There could be 15 people. It could end after 2 people, and the whole match just is over. If MJF puts salt to the earth on Mark Briscoe and he taps before anybody else comes out, done deal. So that is the nature of the immediacy, the clearing out the ring, the being able to get a pinfall or submission with so many potential other people in the match. And also, of course, and also the intervals are random. So you don't know when people are coming out. You don't know who's coming out. Some of the names do get announced. Some don't. When Christian won, he was in a tag team match that night. So I'm not ruling anybody out of being in the match if they're already on the card. I don't know. We don't know. If you like that surprise factor, if you like that air of mystery, not saying there's any surprise. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if you're a wrestling fan and that match lends itself to that kind of stuff. So let's take a look at the Dynamite card real quick as I wrap things up here for today. Just talked about the significance of getting in the gauntlet early. This will be for the number 2 spot. We already know Chris Statlander has the 1. Megan Bayne, Tay Mello, Queen Aminata, and Thekla. We're going to see Samoa Joe, and if Wheeler Yuta can see, he will be having that match with Samoa Joe. And this all-star 8-man tag, my goodness. Claudio, Mox, Bucks, Hangman, 2/3 of the Trios champions, Shibata, and Hobbs, and Will Ospreay. The Talkie Talk with Briscoe and MJF, and the women's title match final face-to-face. I will be back tomorrow to talk more about all of this. Wednesday, Tom Green will be joining me. It is All In Texas week. I hope you enjoy it, whether you're watching on Bleacher Report or on YouTube. Make sure you follow me in the places down below. It is a great time to be a fan. I hope you all enjoy the week, and I hope you come back with me tomorrow, live at 12:30 Eastern, right here on Wrestling Daily. I'll be back tomorrow to talk about wrestling even more.